Good day, everyone. Today we're going to talk about data types, variables, and constants in C Sharp programming. Our learning objectives for today are the following: enumerate the different data types in C Sharp programming, familiarized with the rules in naming variables, and use constant variables in C Sharp programming. What comes to your mind when you hear the word data types? Data types simply refer to the type of data that your variable can store. C Sharp is a strongly typed language. It means that you cannot use variable without declaring it and specifying its data type. C Sharp provides two kinds of data types. We have the value types and the reference types. A value type, which is also called as the primitive data type, stores copy of the value, whereas the reference type, which is also called as the non-primitive type, stores the address of the value. Here is a complete list of data types in C Sharp. So we have the S byte, byte, short, U short, int, U int, long, and U long. These data types are used for whole numbers. Okay? And then we have car. Car is used for character. Float, double, and decimal are used for decimal numbers. And then the last one, bool, is used for boolean, okay, which is a true or false value. So these are examples of primitive data types or value types, right? And then we have the reference types or the non-primitive data types. So it includes string, array, object, etc. Okay? So string are used for words, for alphanumerics. Okay, now let's define what variable is. A variable refers to the memory address. Actually, it is an identifier for a memory address or memory location. Because when you create variable, it creates or holds space in the memory that is used for storing temporary data. As you know about C# data types, each data type has predefined size. Okay? Keep in mind that a variable has a name, it has an address, it has a data type, and a value. Right? So here are the rules in naming variables. Number one, it must begin with a letter. Okay? Second, it should not contain any spaces. Number three, it should not be a keyword. When we say keyword, this is a reserved word, a word that is predefined. Okay, a word that has a different meaning. Okay, that cannot be used into another purpose. Okay, because it's already been set. And number four, make it descriptive. Make sure the name of the variable has something to do with the value that it represents. Okay, so tell whether the following is valid or invalid variable name. Average. Okay, it's valid. How about this one? Last name. It's invalid, right? Why? Because it contains space. Num1. Yes, it's valid. Number 4, forever. It's invalid. Not because you don't believe in forever, but it begins with a number. So variable name must begin with a letter. Okay? And this one, int, it's invalid, right? Because it is a keyword. Okay? So here are the different types of variables. Number one, we have local variables. These are variables declared inside a method or function. Okay? So remember, variables are accessible from where it is declared. Since it is declared inside a method, it is only accessible in that method or function. Okay? Global variables, on the other hand, are declared outside a method or function, meaning it is accessible in all parts of your program. Okay? Constant variables are variables whose values are fixed, meaning it cannot be altered, it cannot be changed during runtime execution. And to declare a constant variable, all you need to do is use the keyword const, followed by the data type, for example, double, and then the variable name, pi, is equal to 3.1416. Okay, so the value of pi can never be changed or will never be changed during runtime execution. Okay, so here is a program involving three integer variables. So we have the num1, the num2, and result. So this code will ask you to enter first value, enter second value, and then compute for the sum and then display it, right? So I'm gonna go deeper with this one. In the preceding example, we create three integer type variable, and these are the num1, num2, and result. Num1 and num2 are used for accepting user values, while the result was used for storing the sum of two numbers. So the new thing in this preceding example is the play or are the placeholders. So for example, we have here sum of placeholder 0 and placeholder 1 is placeholder 2. So you can see we have three placeholders. So we are expecting for three variables on the right side. Okay, so they are arranged in respective order. Okay, so the first one is used for to represent num1, the second placeholder for num2, and the third placeholder for the result. Okay, and here is the output of the code. So it will display, please enter the first value, and then the user will type in, let's say 5. The value 5 will be stored in num1. And then we have the second statement. So enter second value. The user will type again. So for example, 7. 7 will be placed or stored in num2. And then this will be displayed. Sum of 5 and 7 is 12. Okay? So if you want to display more than one variable values, then you will have to assign placeholder for each variables. In the preceding line, this one, open close parenthesis and open and close curly brackets. So with 0 denotes num1, this one denotes num2, and then the last one denotes result. Okay, now let's move on with conversion. There are times that we need to convert one type to another type, and this is called typecasting. Okay, conversion or converting one type to another type. So C# accepts string value by default. So when you use the console.readline, automatically it is considered as string data type. So if you are using other value, then you will have to convert it into a specific data type. For instance, this one, num1. As we all know that num1 is of type int, right? So what I did was I used int32.parse to convert string to integer. Okay, actually there are several ways of type conversion. Okay, the first one is what we call implicit. It is a conversion from derived class to base class. So here is a concrete example of that. So for instance, we have a double, okay, a double data type num2, and then we have int num3 with initial value of 5. And then I have this statement, num2 is equal to num3. There will be no problem because even though num3 is of type int and num2 is of type double, this will still work, okay, due to implicit conversion. So automatically, num3 here is treated as what? Double. Okay? So it has nothing, there will be no problem with this one. Okay? Explicit conversion from base class to derived class. So here we have double num2 is equal to 2.35 int num3. Now, if you try to assign the value of num2, which is double, okay, of double type, to num3, which is of type int, it is incompatible. So to make it compatible, I placed here, open and close parenthesis, int inside. So to convert num2 and to be treated it as of type int. So the value of num3 here will become 2. Num3 equals 2. Okay? And of course, using the helper class. So if you want to change a string to integer type, so you can use int.parse, int32.parse, or convert that to int32, something like that. For float, you can use float.parse. For double, convert that to double. For decimal, convert that to decimal. For byte, convert that to byte. Okay? Now I have here example code. Okay, I'm just going to explain it. So here we have several variable declarations of different data types. Again, bool is for boolean, int is for whole number, string for alphanumerics, char for single letter or single value, for float and double for decimal numbers. Okay, and then what I did was I only displayed it here. Okay, so these are the different types or kinds of data types. Then we have constant variable. Okay, so again, to declare constant variable, use the keyword const followed by the data type and then the variable name equals a value. Okay, what I did was I computed for the area of the circle. Okay, so the formula is double area is equal to pi times radius. So that's it. And for the type conversion, we have implicit, explicit, and using class helper. Okay, so here using convert that to int32, this is using the class helper. So from string, I converted it into type int. And then another example, implicit conversion. See, num3 is integer and then I assigned it into a double variable. So there's no problem with that. Okay, and this one, explicit. Since num2 is a double data type, and I'm gonna use or assign the value of that to num3, which is an integer type. So I use this one, open and close parenthesis, int. Convert this one to integer. So this is explicit conversion. Right? So again, today we discussed about data types, several kinds of data types, constant variables, local variables, global variables, and the different ways on how to do typecasting. Again, thank you for listening.